In the early 70s, our next star partnered with Steve Jobs to create an empire that revolutionized the personal computer industry. Oh, he's smart. But can he dance? It's Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak.
So as that smug fool was saying, that's Steve Wozniak. He's the lesser known of the two founders of Apple. Everyone knows Steve Jobs, but Steve Wozniak's the one who actually built the first Apple computer. He's the programmer, he's the engineer, he's the guy who writes code. Everyone worshipped the earth that Steve Jobs walked upon. But Steve Wozniak is so unloved, he felt the need to go on Dancing with the Stars. It really is so embarrassing. Why did this guy feel the need to do this? It's like Steve Jobs has gotten the attention this guy's entire life, and this guy feels the need he has to go on Dancing with the Stars to get some attention and some recognition. It's just, oh my God, can't he just be happy for who he is? Can't he be happy that he's the guy that's responsible for a lot of modern technology? He's responsible for the way things went with computing? I mean, it's pretty amazing, this guy. Why does he feel the need to dance around like this? Is like this a product of America where we just give recognition to the wrong people, so geniuses like Steve Wozniak just crave some attention and some recognition for what they did? Or is there just something wrong with Steve Wozniak? Does this guy just need attention so badly? Does he crave it so desperately? I mean, doesn't he have someone around him telling him this is a bad idea? Doesn't he have some family? Doesn't he have some kids that could be like, do you really need to do this, Dad?
Roland, do not encourage your father.
You're never going to see Steve Jobs dancing on stage to Livin' La Vida Loca. Not only do you have to dance around like an idiot for the whole world to see, you have to do it while Kathy Griffin is laughing at you. And the dancing is intentionally embarrassing. They make him do the worm, the most embarrassing of dances. I don't even know if you can call it a dance. Just like humping the ground. We all know Steve Jobs wouldn't have been caught dead doing the worm on TV.
When Tubby falls down, everybody goes home happy.
And look at Steve Wozniak getting up. He looks like a proud little boy looking up at his mama. And I've never seen this show. I just heard about that he was on it, so I was just thinking he has to do all this embarrassing dancing, and that's the worst of it. But the dancing may not be the worst of it. It's all these other segments they force him to do. I mean, you have to watch him practice and train dancing, and that's really embarrassing. But then outside of any of that completely, you just kind of have to see him be awkward in front of people. And you have all the little sound bites and all the little weird interactions, and they really just like to play up just how, like, look at this guy. He's a big, strange weirdo.
When it comes to my cha-cha, I'm a little bit worried about my abilities, but I'm going to prove that nerds can dance. People might have thought designing a computer is hard. They haven't tried ballroom dancing. All the numbers and beats is very mathematical.
Yes.
So it's very left brain, but then a lot of the dancing is sort of analog.
They're always kind of talking about him condescendingly, like they're mocking him, like he really isn't smart or he really isn't a genius. Instead, they treat him like he's like a special ed kid. They treat him like he's slow. They just love laughing at him, too. Everything he says, they just laugh at him. Like, oh, this idiot. Or kind of like he's a kid, like he's a toddler. Like, oh, isn't that nice?
Let's take a 5-minute thinking break. I like to close my eyes when I'm practicing because it helps me see an image in my head of myself dancing. It's kind of like dreaming.
Oh, little Stevie.
Let me see an angry face. Okay, that's not an angry face.
Because I'm strong.
Yes.
Oh, little Stevie said another one.
I've only taken one aspirin in 5 days.
And besides this dolled up knockoff Kimmy Gibbler, look at everyone else's reaction to him say this. Everyone just rolls their eyes and laughs at him and just, yeah, they just treat him like he's a kid when he says this. I mean, granted, it is a very odd thing to say, and the way he says it is very childlike. That's why he shouldn't be on this show. He comes off very peculiar.
I've only taken one aspirin in 5 days.
Oh, you did that, little Stevie? Good for you. When they talk about him being smart, it's always in such a condescending way, like he's not really smart.
Oh, he's smart. But can he dance? Will the computer genius be brilliant on the dance floor tonight?
Like he's Billy from Firefest or Elizabeth Holmes, the Theranos blood lady. It's like, no, this guy is actually one of the founders of Apple. He's actually an important figure in computing. And of course, they team him up with this sexy, fiery foreign lady who's gonna make him a sexy dancer.
I'm Karina Smirnoff, and I can bring the sexy side out of any partner.
I can bring the sexy side out of any partner. I can turn this fat lump into a sexy man. And she mainly just talks to him patronizingly and laughs at him. She loves to laugh at him. She loves to treat him like he's just a big joke, like he's fucking walking clown shoes or something. So yeah, it's sadly not just the dancing that's embarrassing, it's everything else. They really love to play up the fact that he rides around in a Segway, like that's so funny. And they're just mocking him. They're just making fun of him for riding them. They make everyone else ride on them with him, going like a whole parade of Segways, a whole parade just to mock him.
I am totally glad that I have the opportunity to get out, interact with people that I've touched, and actually share some of myself with them. This will remind you who to vote for.
We already do vote for you.
We are voting for you.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm dancing for the fans, you bet.
And it's so sad too because he seems to genuinely want these people's attention and affection. He considers these people his fans for being on Dancing with the Stars. So he doesn't even care that he's the founder of Apple. He wants these people's votes on Dancing with the Stars. That's what means something to him. He's dancing for the fans. These are his fans? These people aren't going to remember him after this season of Dancing with the Stars. This doesn't mean... Why are these the people he wants recognition from? Why does he want recognition for doing this?
I'm dancing for the fans, you bet.
He's trying to push this Dancing with the Stars thing so hard, he even goes on Jimmy Kimmel and makes fun of himself doing a Footloose parody where he has to take off his shirt, and they make him do the worm again. That's ABC's idea of family comedy, watching the big guy roll around on the ground.
Fatty falls down, ratings go up.
Even more embarrassing than the dancing he does on Dancing with the Stars is this segment they make him do. Why is he doing this? He doesn't need to do this. Everyone's laughing at you. No one's laughing with you. The joke is on you. It's look at you, look at you. You look like you and you're not good at dancing. Ha ha ha, look at you try to dance. You look dumb. That's the joke. The joke isn't that you're really funny at dancing. Look how funny of a dancer you are. No, it's we're laughing at you. And then they have this dramatic segment where they have some fake doctor guy pretends his foot is hurt.
Well, Steve, what you're doing is crushing your foot. The question then is, can you dance or should you dance?
So stupid. They put his foot in this big plastic thing. And then he actually has to be mocked by a panel of judges. That's part of the show as well. American Idol style, he just has to be criticized by these guys and they have to talk about how terrible he is.
Last week, Steve Samba earned him the lowest scores in 6 seasons.
Steve, on your knees and beg forgiveness. This was the worst samba I've ever seen, I think.
It was hilarious or delirious. It was like watching a Teletubby going mad on a Gay Pride parade.
Overall, it was a disaster.
They just laugh at him and call him names, all while Kathy Griffin laughs at you. And he just smiles the entire time. He's just got this big puppy dog grin on his face, like he's so excited to be insulted in front of the world. Oh, goody. Oh, I get to be made fun of in front of everybody. And he keeps on saying how fun this is. That's what he keeps saying over and over again. Oh, it's so much fun. I love it. I love this. It's so much fun.
Last week, Steve's cha-cha earned him the lowest score from the judges, but he still came up smiling.
This is the most incredible, fun thing I've ever done, and it's so great. I'm so glad to be here.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I love the fast movement of the legs. I love the kind of hopping around. I just get a big smile. I love that.
This show is so middle America mainstream that Steve Wozniak's tame joke about having fun is too outrageous for them.
I'm having so much fun. They're testing me for drugs tomorrow.
Oh, great. Okay.
Just a joke.
Steve and Karina will get their scores.
Yeah, I know what part of it he thinks is fun. He's enjoying those long hugs with his dancing partner. I don't know what Steve Wozniak's wife looks like. I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but professional dancers are some of the most physically fit people in the world. So I doubt very often does Steve Wozniak get to grope and caress and cradle a woman with a body like this. I definitely don't think it's why he did the show, but it's an added bonus. He certainly seemed to be having fun.
I just get a big smile. I love that.
And these are the people he did the show with. Holly Madison, one of Hugh Hefner's old sex dolls, and Steve-O. He has to hug Steve-O. Steve-O would have to be one of the last people I'd ever want to hug. He professionally jumps in shit, either jumping in it or covering himself in it. He has to be one of the last people I'd ever want to hug. Steve-O has to be one of the top 5 smelliest celebrities, up there with Kid Rock. My dad would always joke that Kid Rock really looks smelly. It seems like my dad was right in the 90s, because nowadays Kid Rock seems pretty open that he's smelly.
Kid Rock looks like he would smell like stale farts and cigarettes. More like fresh farts and cigars.
And because of doing Dancing with the Stars with him, Steve Wozniak is now like celebrity friends with Steve-O. He has to like do his podcast and stuff. And I've been a lifelong fan of Steve-O and Jackass. I loved Wild Boys, but Steve Wozniak, I just feel so bad for him that he has to be on Steve-O's podcast. He has to be stuck in a small hot van with Steve-O, a couple dudes, and Steve-O's dog. Yeah, so I really just can't wrap my head around why exactly Steve Wozniak decided to do this. And then I looked it up though, and Steve Wozniak has a huge IMDb page of over 70 different things he's been in. So he's been self-promoting himself from the beginning. He just feels the need to constantly put himself out there and do anything. Anyone that asks, seemingly, he does it. And Steve Jobs, who is way more beloved and way more known, doesn't do anything like that. I mean, yeah, you can look at his IMDb and he has a few things that he's done over the years, but most of it way early in the day, in the early days of Apple. But if Steve Wozniak, it was that endless scroll of just things he's done. Steve Wozniak was even on an episode of Space Ghost Coast to Coast back in the day, where once again, he just gets mocked. I guess he's okay with being laughed at, or he doesn't understand that he's being laughed at. It's really hard to tell which. He's a very socially awkward guy.
I've only taken one aspirin in 5 days.
He did a cameo on The Big Bang Theory. Now that's the kind of thing that makes sense. It's a nerdy show. That's the kind of thing his agent should be getting him to do, not Dancing with the Stars. Big Bang Theory, he plays himself. They treat him like he's Steve Wozniak, like he's this great guy. That's the kind of thing he should be doing. I mean, I don't think he should be doing it at all. I don't think Steve Wozniak should be on Big Bang Theory. But if he's going to do something, that is much better than Dancing with the Stars. Doesn't he have someone around him telling him that this is something that's embarrassing? This is something that D-list celebrities do? People that need the money? This guy, he's one of the founders of Apple. He doesn't need the money. People need the money. People want to stay relevant. That's why they go on this show. What is Steve Wozniak's need to stay relevant? He's not promoting his new show or his new book or his new podcast. He's an engineer and programmer. He's already richer than any of us could ever imagine, so he doesn't need the check. That's why he has to have some family that's like, hey, this is actually embarrassing. This is a show where middle America watches and they laugh at D-list celebrities trying to dance. The only thing I can think of is that he really just craved that attention that Steve Jobs got. That I can walk into a room and everyone stands up and applauds just because I've entered, because everyone worships me. Maybe he doesn't want to be worshipped, but he definitely wants to be beloved and recognized. And unfortunately, he's being recognized for the wrong thing. You would never see Steve Jobs doing Dancing with the Stars. Not in a million years. He didn't need that. Steve Jobs will forever be a household name. He's like our generation's Thomas Edison. And like Edison, it's very questionable what he did exactly and where his ideas came from. Thomas Edison had an infamous rivalry with Nikola Tesla. I don't think I have to tell you who won that one. Sadly, most people don't even know who Nikola Tesla is. Just now, people are starting to know him because a car was named after him. The shit with Steve Wozniak would be like if Nikola Tesla had to do Dancing with the Stars to gain attention because he was being so overshadowed by Thomas Edison and he wanted some notoriety, so he had to do Dancing with the Stars. Steve Wozniak going on Dancing with the Stars would be like if Nikola Tesla had to be shaking and dancing in front of audiences because no one cares that he's a pioneer of alternating current electricity.
I have to turn the watch to see the time. But when I get on an airplane, you have to change the time zone. There's the hours and the minutes. It speaks at the order that my brain wants it, hours and minutes. When I get on a plane, I'm going to change the time zone. I'm sitting in my seat next to somebody else, and we're flying halfway over the country, and I go through the adjustment, first of all, 12-hour or 24-hour mode, and then it gets to where I can actually set the angle on my wrist that it's going to show the time, and I select it, and it's all set. But when the people sitting next to me see me pushing all these little buttons on a watch like this on an airplane, I'm wondering what's going through their heads.
Woz?
Yeah?
What the fuck is on your wrist?
You want to know?
I literally can't wait.
It's a Nixie watch made using Nixie tubes. This is actually 40-year-old technology. Cold cathode tubes. I tilt my wrist 45 degrees, it's right there. Hours, minutes, and seconds. The way our minds work.
Set the watch ahead like you're on a plane and just change time zones.
Not a problem.
Excuse me, flight attendant? The man next to me would appear to be detonating a bomb.
You think this looks like a bomb?
Even right now, I'm not 100% sure it isn't.